Hello everyone and welcome to our new English video. In today's video we are going to continue explaining the past simple lesson part 2. By the end of this lesson, students should be able to understand and recognize the form and the use of the past simple, accurately use the past simple tense to talk about past events, and to form negative and question forms using past simple tense. This is what we are going to focus on, to form negative and question forms. We said that we use the past simple tense to talk about completed actions that happened at a specific time in the past. So we know exactly when the action happened in the past. For example, I washed my car yesterday. So this sentence is in simple past. How do we know? We have yesterday. Yesterday is a time indicator. We know when the action happened. It answers when. Another example, she ate pizza for dinner last night. It answers when. So if we have a sentence that answers when the action happened in the past, this is past simple. Then we have moved to talk about time expression. To form time expression, we use last, yesterday, in, and ago. For example, we can say last Sunday, last night, last month, last year, last weekend, last week. And also we can say the day before yesterday, afternoon, yesterday evening, yesterday night, yesterday morning, etc. We can also say 10 minutes ago, an hour ago, a year ago, 3 days ago, a month ago, a week ago, etc. And in with a year, in, for example, 2010, in 1999, or in the 19th century. The kind of sentences we have in simple past, we have affirmative, negative, and interrogative sentence. In this video, as I said, we are going to focus on negative and interrogative sentences because we have already seen the affirmative form. So if we want to form affirmative sentences, as we said in the previous video, we can say that the affirmative form contains a subject, a verb in the past simple, and a complement. Like here we have Ahmed visited us last week. So subject, verb in the past simple, and complement. Or we can say they visited us last week. As we see here, the verb does not change with the third person or with they. So it is the same form for all the subjects. Let's move now to the negative sentence. Here is the example. We have Ahmed didn't visit us last week. Let's extract the structure of the negative sentence for past simple. So here we have Ahmed. Ahmed is what? Is the is the subject. Then we have didn't. Didn't is the auxiliary. فعل مساعد. Okay. Here then we have the verb. As you see here, the verb is in the base form. It does not change because we have the auxiliary. So visit is the verb in the base form, plus the complement. Okay, they didn't visit us last week. As you see, third person with the same auxiliary as in plural. They didn't. So the same verb here is kept. Let's move now to talk and explain interrogative sentences. In English, there are two basic types of questions. We have yes or no questions and WH questions, or we can say informative questions. Yes or no questions are also called closed questions because they have only one possible answer, which is yes or no. And in informative questions, we also call them WH questions. I will explain them later. So let's start with yes or no questions. For example, here we started with the auxiliary did. So did, Ahmed is the subject, plus the verb in the base form, and the complement here. So as you see here, the verb does not change in the question form. Another example, did they visit you last week? So the same auxiliary with the verb in the base form. Let's move now to talk and explain informative questions or information questions. In information questions, we have WH questions. We can say, for example, how, where, what, who, when, why, etc. Okay, for example, here we have, where did you go last year? You see, we start with where, and the auxiliary here is did. As you see, the verb does not change, right? So where is a WH question or WH word plus the auxiliary did plus subject plus the verb in the base form and the complement plus question mark, of course. Let's see another example. Where did he go last year? So we have the same auxiliary with all the personal pronouns or with the subjects. Whatever subject we have did. Okay, and the verb kept its base form, right? It does not change. Okay, how about the verb to be? So what happens when we use the verb to be? Let's recall the past tense for the verb to be. So the past of the verb to be, we all know that we have was or were. Good job. So in negative sentences, use the negative full form or contractions, which means short form. Contractions, which means short form in negative. For example, was, in full form for negative, we can say was not. And in contraction, short form, we say wasn't. Were, we can say were not or weren't. Here, full form, and here, short form. Contraction. Never use didn't in negative. We all know that the rule for past simple in negative is we did, but with the verb to be, we don't use did. This is an exception for the verb to be. The verb to be plays the role of the main verb and the auxiliary verb at the same time. Okay? يعني كيلعب دور ديال الفعل الرئيسي في الجملة وفعل مساعد. Let's move now to say the question forms for the verb to be. With the verb to be, we have as well yes or no questions and informative questions. For yes or no questions, we start our question with was or were. For example, was Ahmed in the house? Or we can say, were they at the mall? So the verb here changes according to the subject we have. So he was plus the subject and the complement plus question mark. So as you see here, the verb to be plays the main verb and the auxiliary verb. Okay, informative questions or WH questions, as we said before. We can say, for example, why was Ahmed in the house? Or where were you last night? So we have here WH word plus was or were plus the subject plus the complement plus a question mark. Okay, great. So I hope that you have grasped the forms we have just seen, and let's practice some activities here. In this activity, you are going to rewrite the sentences into negative form. Here we have 8 sentences and we are going to make them negative. Let's start with the first one. He had a computer. He had a computer. If we want to make it negative, we can say he did not or he didn't have a computer. Next, they saw an old house in the mountains. They saw an old house in the mountain. Negative form. Very good. They didn't. They didn't see an old house in the mountain. So you see, whatever verbs we have, all we can do here is that we just add did plus not and we put the verb in its base form. For example, here had, the base form of had is have, is to have. Good job. Let's move to the next sentence, number 3. So Andy washed her father's car. We have here washed. The base form of washed is wash. So we just put did not or didn't plus wash. So Andy didn't wash her father's car. Number 4. My brother was home yesterday. What is the verb here? Yes, we have the verb to be. Do you still remember the rule for the verb to be? We said that the verb to be plays the role of the main verb and the auxiliary, so we don't need to put a didn't here. We just write wasn't. So my brother wasn't home yesterday, or was not home yesterday if we want to write it the full form. Number 5. Sarah studied French at school. Yes, very good job. So we can say Sarah didn't study French at school. 6. David cooked lunch at home. David didn't cook lunch at home. They were at the cinema. Here we have the verb to be as well. Do you still remember the rule? Yes, so they weren't at the cinema. Good job. Last one. Omar and Adam were at the cinema. We have the verb to be, so weren't. Omar and Adam weren't at the cinema. You see, past simple form is so easy. All we have to do in the negative is to put did plus not and the verb in the base form, which means you don't need to change it. Let's move now to form questions. Write questions in past simple. So you have here 9 sentences that you need to make them questions. Let's start with the first one. You work in the garden. Make it a question. Good. So did you work in the garden? Good job. As you see here, did and the verb in the base form. If we have the auxiliary did, we put the verb in the base form. Let's move to the second one. Where is the verb? Visit. So put did with this sentence to form a question. Good. So did Greg visit his grandma? Well done. Next question. They speak English. Yes. Yes. Did they speak English? Good job. 4. Here is the verb stay. So you add did. Good. How long? WH question. So how long did you stay in Marrakesh? Good. So if we have WH questions, we put WH question, then did, then the subject, and then the verb in the base form. Okay, like here. How did or how long did you stay in Marrakesh? Good. So 5. What she eat last night? Yes. What did she eat last night? Number 6. The match exciting. What is the verb here? Oh yes, we don't have a verb. So if we don't have a verb here, we can just put the verb to be. Yes. Here we have the match is a noun and exciting adjective. So was the match exciting? 7. When David opened the door. Yes, when did David open the door? Number 8. Where Ali live? Yes. So we have the verb here, live. So where did Ali live? Last one. Adam at home yesterday. What is the verb here? We don't have one. So we are going to use the verb to be. So which verb to be goes with Adam? Was. So was Adam at home yesterday? Good job. So if we have the verb in the sentence, we put did. If we don't have a verb in a sentence, we put the verb to be. Okay? So let's practice more. You are going to use the given pictures, verbs, and time expressions to form sentences. So here I'm going to provide you with pictures, with the verb, and with the time expressions. And your job is to put the verb in the past simple to form a sentence with the verb and the time expression. So what is the past of wake up? Yes, good, woke up. So he woke up 5 hours ago. Good job. So do the same for the rest. Next, here we have take a shower. The time expression is yesterday evening. This is Ali. So Ali, what is the past of take? Good, took. So Ali took a shower yesterday evening. Perfect. Next, this is Mr. John and eat breakfast. Eat is a verb. The time expression is this morning at 7:30. So what is the past of eat? Yes, good job. So ate or at. So Mr. John ate breakfast or his breakfast this morning at 7:30. Next, this is Sarah. This is the verb, make her bed, and this is a time expression. Yeah, what is the past of make? Yeah, good job, made. So Sarah made her bed 2 hours ago. Good job. Next, he, this is the verb sleep, and the time expression is last night. So what is the past of sleep? Slept. So he slept last night at 11:45. Good job. Last picture, here we have take my family to the beach. So last summer is the time expression. So what is the past of take? We have just seen it. Good job. Took. So took my family to the beach. So I took my family to the beach last summer. Perfect. A homework activity. You're going to complete the following sentences with the past simple tense of the verbs given. Here you have 8 sentences, so you see whether to put them in affirmative, negative, or interrogative. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you very much. See you next lesson, inshallah.